Look, bro, I know you don't care about the long-term side effects, the health risks of taking roids. You want to live fast and die young. You don't want results tomorrow. You don't want results in 5 years. You want results now. Hell, you want results yesterday. And you'll do whatever it takes because you're hardcore, right? Well, let me tell you something, bro. Roids are the opposite of hardcore. They're a confession that you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your very own body and its ability to create the physique you want completely naturally. If you think you're this hard-working, disciplined guy, roids are the opposite of what you should want because they're copium for impatience. You want results now. Do you know what that sounds like? Sounds like a spoiled little brat. A toddler who's denied his favourite toy and starts throwing a hissy fit and a tantrum. And you know what else it sounds like? It sounds like instant gratification, because training by itself is a very pure act. But when you add roids to the mix because you want to speedrun your results, you're being an instant gratification pleasure chaser, just like an obese man who can't stop stuffing his face. Is that who you want to be, bro? Yeah, I didn't think so. Let me tell you, anyone can inject their way and just fast track their progress. But very few can put in the long, slow grind and earn their results the hard way, the natural way. This makes you a real outlier, a true one-of-a-kind man who will build something truly remarkable. Do you want to know something, bro? Roids is kind of like renting a Lambo. You get a lot of attention from dummies, but you get no respect from the real ones. Is that what you really want, bro? You just want to get gawked at by people who don't respect you. Don't you want to build something real? Something that can't be bought? Because let me tell you, bro, this slow grind, all of the plateaus you have to break, all of the obstacles you have to overcome on your journey, they will forge something so undeniable within you that nothing else can replicate it. Nothing can discourage you when in your heart of hearts, you have been forged into a real leader by the fire that filters out anyone who's unworthy. Steroids build a lot of muscle. I'm never gonna deny that. But staying natural builds real power. Which would you prefer? Because one of them fades rather quickly. The other one multiplies forever. Now that that's out of the way, I want to share with you a comment I got a couple weeks ago on the post I made about my natural bodybuilding show. And I think this is an amazing opportunity to show you just how delusional these steroid users or steroid fanboys are. So I'm very grateful that this gentleman, Scoopy Ghost, decided to leave this comment, because it is the perfect framework for me to argue against. It's a very common idea and a very stupid one, these arguments that he has here. So, first things first, brother, you are an influencer. No, I'm not. I'm a coach. I don't care about going viral, chasing clout. I want to transform lives. There's a difference. Influencers change the way people think. I want to change the way people live. So, losing money and clout by being natty. Just a little TRT is smarter, but I'm apparently handicapping myself being a silly noble natty. He says natural bodybuilding isn't only a waste of time. You are training to look tiny in a t-shirt and look great on Instagram. So that's already a contradiction right there. Apparently, I'm losing money and clout by being natty, but I'm also training to look great on Instagram. Make it make sense, bro. The two don't add up. But
Apparently, I'm lifting to look like I run marathons, not a lifter. Bro, if you think my physique is that of a marathon runner, yeah, the lighting in here isn't great, but bro, you have such crippling delusion and probably a lot of body dysmorphia that you think I look tiny in a t-shirt. Yes, when you're natural, you are going to have to sacrifice either shreds or size, but you can look lean and big at the same time if you spend enough years in the grind. I'm not saying you're going to look massive while 5% body fat on stage. No, but you don't have to. You can bulk anytime you want, and you get to keep those gains for life and just keep on building upon the foundation. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this gentleman thinks that money and physique are directly correlated. And this is a very, very, very common idea that I'd love to just dismantle completely. So right now, you might be looking upon these fitness influencers that you see online, and you might be a little jealous. You might think, yeah, this is the life. It's worth it to sacrifice for the glory that they have. You see their clout, you see their physique, and you want it all. You actually convince yourself that it's worth the sacrifice. I'm going to do whatever it takes because I'm hardcore. You have a deep lust for their lifestyle, and you think injections are going to get you there. And I've been there as well, brother. I was at a point in my life where I was down bad. I was going through real bad mental health, which was all my fault. I got into a very bad car crash, and because I was a little victim, cucked by the world, I self spiraled into pity and despair, which caused brutal insomnia for a while. But anyway, that's not the story. Just a little context that I'm painting for you. So, I was at a point where I was waking up to the fact that working a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life is shit. No one wants to do that. And so I had this idea. There are all these fitness influencers online. I would love to join them. And I've been thinking about that for quite some time. But I thought, oh, how am I going to compete? I'm way too small and skinny and not impressive. I don't have any credibility. And so I had this idea. Why don't I fast track my credibility? Why don't I speed run my results? Maybe I'll just try just a little bit of Psalms because it's gentle, it's easy. I don't have to inject anything because that's scary. I just need to drop a little bit of liquid on my tongue every day, and then I'll finally get the physique I want, I'll get the laugh I want, everything will all just click into place. So, I loaded up a Psalms website, and I was about to check out. I had Osterine and Rad 140 in the basket, and I almost clicked buy, but something held me back. A little voice in the back of my head that said, do you really want to do this? Do you really, really want to start down this road? Because it's not just going to end here. You're going to take these, you might get some results, get addicted, and then it will all unravel. Before you know it, you'll be taking mega doses of tren straight into your eyeball. Now, I'm so glad that I listened to that voice, closed the tab, and didn't order those vile compounds. Because it wouldn't have even helped in my goals of making it big online. You see, I have a little spoiler alert for you. The physique you have is not directly correlated to the amount of money you make. Otherwise, there would be every single person who had a crazy physique online and they'd be balling. But that's not the case now, is it? How many IFBB pros out there post on Instagram, have a little bit of a following, but they're still broke as a joke, and they're still working their 9 to 5 to be able to fund their passion and invest into their bodybuilding? Likewise, how many naturals out there who don't look that crazy, but are absolutely printing money because they understand sales, marketing, providing value, and they have realized that business is a completely separate skill that you have to actually develop, which is not easy at all. And roids are not going to help you with that. They're not going to immediately make you into a marketing machine. They might get you some extra attention, some extra easy attention, but easy attention doesn't last. Because it's all an illusion. It's smoke and mirrors. You see those enhanced, crazy looking kids that just blow up out of nowhere and go mega viral. Well, you might see them driving a nice car, living a lavish lifestyle for a little while. But guess what? It's all built on a foundation of shite. Their car's probably rented, their lifestyle is probably putting them into crippling debt, and they are living on borrowed time. The quicker you rise, the quicker you will fall off again. What's the point of getting all of this clout and this little bit of money if you get to keep it for a year, 2 years, maybe even 5 years? But then after that, you begin your slow decline, or maybe you just nosedive straight into a life of shit again. And even worse, because you've tasted what it's like to have status. And all of a sudden, boom, it's gone and you're a nobody again. Because staying natural truly is the long game. It's not going to make you massive overnight. It's a grind. But guess what? If you reject the temptation to inject your way into glory, even though you're probably not even going to make it, and you just grow the fuck up. You stop being a spoiled little brat chasing quick results. Well, my friend, you'll be in for a real treat, because we get to keep our gains for life. Yeah, sure, once we pass our 40s, maybe our 50s, our hormonal profile starts to slowly drop. There are ways around it. Obviously, we can live a high testosterone lifestyle, but it's still going to happen. Either way, the muscle will not just evaporate overnight. We absolutely can be that jacked grandpa. I've seen them around, and guess what? They're all natural. They've just been putting in the years and decades that it takes to be that Chad. Now, obviously, this natural game, it takes a long time. And it's a lot harder. Don't believe the lies that the roid heads say. Oh, it allows me to train harder than you. You're a natty pussy. False, false, false. Because I see so many roid heads training like complete pansies at the gym, and yet they're still massive. They can get away with just a bit of fluff and pump. Because all they really need to do is just shuttle blood into the muscles that's already full of these chemicals, and boom, there you have it, muscle. So obviously, this natural game, we're going to have to overcome a lot more obstacles. We're going to have to get good at problem solving in real time. Meaning, the more we learn, the more aura we build. Because aura comes from sacrifice and deep conviction that you are that guy, which comes from putting in effort others aren't willing to. Obviously, the more we learn, the more obstacles we overcome, makes us more valuable. because it allows us to have more to teach others. We become an asset to the community. So, if you do want to make it and you do want to provide value to people, wouldn't it be best to have something useful to share with them rather than these roid heads who give the shittest advice to naturals because they don't know, they just don't know how to get results without roids? And here's the real meat and potatoes. Roids give you fake confidence. You see those jacked up guys strutting around like they're the alpha male. Well, we see right through those fuckers. Everyone who's about it, they can just tell. Because when you've built an aura for yourself, you can literally see right through the machismo, the fake bravado, the confidence. And we know that it all comes from a little vial. We can see it in your eyes because there's that empty hollowness. We can smell the insecurity. This overcompensation of being loud and aggressive is just a defense mechanism to cover up your deep, deep insecurities. Bro, why? Why go through all that shit if you're just gonna end up losing it anyway? You're literally just pissing away your health, living a shorter and worse life with just an assortment of mental illnesses, body dysmorphia through the roof, random mood swings, uncontrollable temper, deep delusion, and all for what? For nothing! Because as soon as you stop injecting, those gains will evaporate. Yeah, you can do your PCT, but that's only going to restore your hormonal profile enough not to kill you. It's not going to keep those gains. Are you crazy? If you had to inject high doses to get them, what makes you think you're going to keep them without the drugs? So, bro, what's the point? Make it make sense. Seriously. You're not going to make it big. If you had what it takes, you'd know before you started injecting. And that's why I'm going to make the argument that pro athletes don't count. Obviously, when I say roids are for beta losers, I don't mean the top level athletes who have to inject, because everyone who is at the pro level has to inject. Meaning, if you want to be competitive, you have to level the playing field. This is the shittest argument that I ever hear. Oh, so what, you think you're better than Ronnie Coleman or Chris Bumstead or frickin' Conor McGregor or anyone who's at the top level? No, I don't. Of course not. They have to do what it takes to make it to the top. But you're not going to get there. I'm sorry to break it to you, bro. You're not going to make it to the top because these guys are such genetic elites that they know it before the drugs. And then once they start making it to the pro leagues, they have to start using the drugs just to be able to enter into the arena. But there's a massive filter. You know, the genetic natural starting point, the skill level is just so ridiculously large of a gap between you guys that you're not going to make it. Let's just leave it at that. Try naturally. Try to develop your skills naturally. See if you're any good. And then, if the signs are overwhelming that you're massively ahead of everyone else around you, then yeah, okay, start taking drugs because you're going to have to. But apart from that, I don't want to hear it. Fucking stupid, shitty cope. So, to end the video, I'm going to just give you some examples of naturals who look tiny in a t-shirt. These are some guys who I really look up to, but even these aren't the top level of what's achievable. I simply don't follow natural bodybuilding at the highest level because it doesn't really interest me. These are just some creators and YouTubers who I respect. So, do you think this is tiny in a t-shirt? Or do you think you would absolutely love to look like that. I think I'm just a couple years away from getting to this level. A couple years of intense, diligent training. And if you don't think this is impressive, bro, your body dysmorphia is too far gone and there's no hope. Seriously, you might as well just delete your freaking mental health for good. But yeah, bro, that was the video. I hope it was valuable in some way. I hope it shifted your perspective a little. And if you trust me, if I'm someone you respect, click the link below, see what I have to offer. If you hate it, you can bully me in the comments. But anyway, bro, have a victorious day, stay natural, and I'll see you when I see you.